Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 31 of Studio Time with Ryos. Before we get into today's video, I want to let you guys know that my brand new Serum preset pack is out now. The link for it will be in the description. I've been teasing it for some time. I'm sure you guys have seen it in my videos, but it's out. Also, guys, my July Patreon pack just dropped. If you didn't already know, I'm releasing monthly sample packs on my Patreon, exclusive for members only and exclusive for that month only. So that means that after each month they expire, they're gone. See you later. So go subscribe today. The link for both that and my Serum bank will be down below in the description if you guys are interested. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Today I want to try remixing Tiesto's new song Drifting. It's been in my playlist on repeat and I just absolutely love this vocal. I think I can make something cool with it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alrighty, folks. So we're loading into FL Studio right now. I wanted to give you guys a quick heads up too. I'm sick. I felt like I was getting sick in last episode. I don't know if you guys remember. I said it. My throat is killing me. I think I'm getting sick. I don't know. But yeah, it turns out I'm sick and I have a lung infection. So I am on medicine. But if I keep coughing and I sound like Squidward, so I apologize in advance. But the show must go on. We're going to make a banger regardless. Anyways, let's have some fun. Let's remix the new Tiesto record. So I already extracted the acapella. Let's pull it up real quick. Dude, such a good vocal. Because this vocal is really dreamy and it makes me feel like nostalgic, I want to try to make a break that matches that vibe. So we're going to start with a respace.
If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. Hope you listen, say your name as my breath. In the deep end, head above to breathe air. If I'm drifting, say that you will be there.
So I kind of like this bass line. It's nice and simple. It's a bit slower, kind of like the original, where the notes kind of prolong for about 2 bars instead of 1, which I like. I think it fits the vocal well, makes it a little bit more moody, so that's cool. Now, what about some chords, pads, etc., atmospheres? Whoa, that's kind of sick.
If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. Hope you listen, say your name as my breath. In the deep end, head above to breathe air. If I'm drifting.
So this is... Wait, what is going on with this pad? It is going rogue. I'm about to just instant consolidate this, low key. It's definitely going to be considered an atmosphere, but it sounds cool. Okay, so I was looking for a pad. Let's see. Let's go back to Spire. It sounds clean. This is very classic. I like it. All right, so let's get this in here, and then let's make some chords.
Say that you will be there. Hope you listen. Say your name as my breath. In the deep end.
It kind of sounds cool without chords, if it's just playing the bass on. Now, I do want to add a little bit of my own flavor to it, so I'm going to use one of the break synths that I use often. Let's see, which one should we do here? Fun fact, this sound originated from my track, Two of Us. Really awesome plucks. Let's get them in there. I think for these, we should make chords. And then also, what I like to do sometimes is add a little bit of strum.
If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. Hope you listen, say your name as my breath. In the deep.
Okay, interesting. So I'm just messing around a little bit, and I winded up muting the pad and the atmos right now, and I kind of like when it just plucks the bass and the vocal.
If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. Hope you listen.
That's kind of a vibe. That, I don't know, that just sounds better to me. Maybe we can keep the pad and the atmosphere for like this section when we need more instruments to come in, and then we can keep the plucks as the main sound of this break. The one thing I will say though is we need to add an additional delay here to this pluck.
If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. Hope you listen, say your name as my breath. In the deep end.
Plucks are sounding really good. Now I'm thinking we get an atmosphere droning sound in here as well. I know we created this one before. I kind of want something a little more low-key, so let's see if we could find a different atmosphere to sort of play in the background here. And then also a texture. Don't let me forget. I think a texture would be good here as well. It's kind of a vibe. Let's see what it sounds like in the track.
If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. Hope you listen, say your name as my breath. In the deep end, head above to breathe air. If I'm drifting, say that you will.
Yeah, Love that. All right, so let's continue to build out this idea. Next, I want to get some drums going. I know this guy's a nice clap for the break, and then we'll get some, I guess we'll get like a very simple house pattern down. Maybe this guy actually. Instead of the pad, let's get a kind of bright dance piano in here. Okay, now for this piano, we're just gonna copy over the chords from the pluck. We'll do no strum, and then we'll probably add a bass line here as well. So I want the piano to be like compressed heavier, a little bit warmer, and then also get that sort of tension disco string in the background as well. Let me get that string in because I know I have one close by, and then I'll process this piano to fit better. So let's do tension string. This track is in A. We'll pitch it up to semitones. Okay, now heavier compression here. And then let's bring back some of the lows. This is kind of like a version of a disco string that I made for myself. It's got some more movement to it, and this might sound nice in the background. Let's try it. Yeah, it does sound good. I do need to sync it, though, to 130. And since I'm here, I kind of want to try giving this piano some extra rhythm. Yeah, I definitely like the piano with this extra rhythm. So let's do the same for the rest of the chords here. So just finished chopping up all the MIDI so that the piano is now nice and stabby for us. I do want to introduce one more piano layer, though. So this original piano that I used for Being Alive was supposed to be more sustained. Sounds good, but it does need that one additional sort of house piano, the nice short attacky kind, that will be layered with this, and I think that'll sound a bit better. So let's get that in right now. So I'm going to go ahead and create a piano group, and I know straight away on this piano group, I'm going to want a transient shaper. So I'm going to add that right now. That way we get the piano to really pop, and then we can add that additional layer that I'm talking about as well. And I think we'll go with Korg M1 for that. Korg M1 is a really popular way to get that classic house piano sound. Now let's do a little housekeeping here. We're going to just quickly EQ this piano group, and then we are going to compress it as well. All right, yo, the piano is sounding super sick. I love it. Let's continue to build on this. I definitely need some effects going here, maybe some impacts and downlifters and stuff. Let's get that going right now. Let's get this guy in here, simple downlifter. And maybe a small impact as well for right when the track starts. And I totally forgot that I wanted to add a texture. Let's get that in. Well, actually, you guys forgot to remind me. Anywho, let's get a texture in there now. I'm thinking we get... I like this guy. Kind of feeling this idea going straight into a build from here. So with that being said, I personally don't really like making buildups until I have a drop, just because I feel like the type of drop that you have is going to dictate the type of buildup you should make. But I do kind of feel this section going into a build with a kick and snare combo. So We can get that going right now. Okay, so these can just act as placeholders for right now. All right, now for the drop, I want to start right away by building a cool lead stack. That's usually pretty inspiring for me. So that'll be one. Also like that one. Actually, that's pretty interesting. And then I'm going to go to Nexus because there's a specific pluck in Nexus that I would like to hear in this stack. Let's pull it up. So now let's sync these guys to our layer here. What does this sound like? Sounds pretty good already. Okay, so let's get some processing on these leads now. So I just opened up some processing that I've done in the past here, just trying to save time, capitalize on the inspiration. I am just switching out the delay though for, yeah, one of these guys I prefer. All right, now let's try coming up with some melodies, and I'm gonna try to make the melody right after the verse. So I like this melody idea. Let's go ahead and add some pitch bending to it. So right here in particular. And then let's also just shorten these notes a little bit so we can feel the rhythm individually better. The next piece that we have to get in for this drop is going to be that bass. Want to get a really disgusting bass line here today, guys. So we'll go with aggro. We're going to create a new pattern and then use the same bass, or the same bass line rather, as before. Bring this down an octave. Now I'm going to add an additional bass here as well to give it extra buzziness, extra crispiness, all that good stuff. I reckon we should use crispy. Let's cut the lows out of here since I really want this to predominantly be in the high, mids, and highs. For the next layer, I want to go for a more detuned, energetic bass. So for our main aggressive bass sounds, I really like those. Next, it's just time to get a sub in. So we could just go for probably a cleaner sub since the bass is so disgusting. I think that we should kind of even it out with a nice, clean, solid sub. We could process this bass a little bit. There's not too much here that I want to do. I want to experiment with a little bit of R bass. Yeah, the R bass is good. I'll keep that. The basses do sound really good with honestly not that much processing. So I'm just going to leave the bass group as it is for right now. Move on to getting some more sounds in. So maybe we'll try chords in this drop. Give it that really like energetic, trancey, uplifting vibe. Now, the current chord layer that I have in here is very airy and bright and like angelic. We'll just call them the bright chords. I like to balance out my chords by adding kind of a more stale, boring layer in there. So let's do that right now. I am going to try one more layer and we're going to leave Serum. Let's go to Spire. I like this pad. This is sick. This is adding a really nice, like, gritty mid-range to the chords. Gritty's not the right word. More like I don't know, like sharp. I don't know how to describe it, but that's dope. What I am going to do to the chord stack, though, is a little bit of multiband compression. I'm going to be lazy and just use OTT, but OTT is godlike, so why not? But I really want to just glue together the mid-range between all the chords. These sounds are really cool. Now, I'm going to get one more like synth sound, something really interesting / weird that can kind of drone in the background and give this whole thing a little more energy. This is kind of weird. I like this. So this is F. We could pitch a sub, what, 4 semitones? Yeah. I don't like that initial pitch. Like right here is cool, and then what if I get weird and stretch it? Let's put this on generic as well. And then let's clean this up a little bit too. It's kind of crazy. Take out the lows, take out some highs. Get rid of that rogue frequency. I'm going to add a soothe because it is quite harsh. And then I also want to add a really short reverb to this as well. And then OTT. Okay, so I think that's a good enough foundation for the drop in terms of the synths. Let's go ahead and get some drop drums going now. Before I continue with the drums, I heard something in my head while I was listening back to that. Where is the scream drone? Or crying drone? Here it is. I use this in Living Again, and I think this sound would be a nice way to add like extra movement. So we're going to keep this just off to the side for right now. But let's continue to build these drums. Get some on-beat claps going. So yeah, that sounds good. Let's move on to adding some other drum effects here. I don't know why I said effects. I just meant regular drum sounds. Specifically cymbals. I don't know if I want to crash or ride here, but we definitely need something. Okay, very solid drum so far. Nothing too crazy, but they do sound pretty good. Now let's try to incorporate this drone. Sounds pretty sick, actually. I'm going to keep this. I want to get some downlifters and white noise in next. Try one of these out. I think a crowd is an absolute must with the style drop, so let's get it in there. And we'll throw a little bit of sidechain on here. That initial impact isn't strong enough for me, so I'm going to add a crash effect here. That's going to give us that nice initial smack right in the drop. Now, before I go ahead and do some fills and additional details, the bass isn't hitting the exact way I want, and I think it's just simply due to the shape of it. So I'm going to go ahead and just boost the mids, reduce these growly low mids here. Okay guys, so now let's start doing some details and all that good stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually in regards to the lead, I want to get a energetic sound, a super sauce, something of the sorts, and just have it highlight certain notes. So that's going to be the first order of business here. Like this. Next up for details, I want to add a little something right here in the effects department to just have the whole thing feel like it's progressing a little bit and staying interesting. So specifically, I want to get one of these guys. That effect sounds good. Let's go ahead and do a nice little fill or something. So we'll start by cutting out all the instrumentation here. I also feel like with this style, it's really popular to just have like a fill that comes out of nowhere with completely new crazy sounds like basses and stabs and growls and all that. So maybe we'll get one of those cool wobbly fills in. See, exactly, stuff like this I feel would fit perfect in this drop. That sounds dope. Damn, this one is super sick too. What if we take Best of Both Worlds? Because I thought the little wobble here at the end sounded really sick. I'm going to process this dubstep fill just a little bit here. I'm going to add a clipper at the very end. And we're going to put the ceiling on. We'll do Soft Clip Pro, a little bit of saturation. But more importantly, what I would like to do is add a little bit of the flying saucer. This is a little plugin I made for myself and Patrick. It's basically just a chorus effect. All right, that sounds cool. Now we should get some like snares and risers in this section as well. So that'll be our big snare, and then we need some other cool snares going on here. There we go. We can get some pre-shift claps and maybe some additional hats to give this thing a little extra rhythm for the second half of the drop here. And then some hats. And maybe we could get cheeky with a very small sweep. And then lastly, just adding a quick riser to help take us out of the drop here. I think this drop is just about done. Now let's go back to the build and piece this thing together. So to start, we're going to turn off the sidechain on the leads and introduce a filter. Now I'm going to experiment quickly with also adding the drop bass into this buildup, and we're going to obviously filter it out. And then we can automate this to open up. Now we also have to do something with the verse bass as well. Essentially, I'm going to add some sidechain that we're going to automate just for when the build starts. And then we're also going to filter it out. So a few other things that we're going to do for this buildup. Number one, I'm going to add an endless smile to the whole entire buildup so that we get that really giant washy effect. And then what goes up must come down. So as we increase the intensity of the endless smile, we're going to also reduce the volume of our buildup here. Now, the other thing this build needs is some sort of vocal riser. So I'm going to try to take the last piece of the vocal here and just honestly keep it really simple. Just loop it over and over again. Maybe pitch it up, you know, filter it out. The build works. So we'll start by looping it. And then we'll take these last two words where it says be there and loop these now. Perfect. I don't even know if I have to do anything else. That sounded awesome. All right, so now to glue the break to the buildup, we need to add a kind of crazy downlifter, right? Something that will really tell the listener, yo, the build is here. So thinking something like this, one of these guys. And then we also need to do something at the very end of this so that it doesn't feel like all the synths get, you know, hard cut basically. So I do like the idea of having a small fill. And then maybe we can filter this whole entire section too. Almost like a DJ would. I'm gonna cut the plucks and the piano from this section. Yeah, that's perfect. And then I want to see if we can incorporate the pianos into the build. Yes, piano definitely belongs in this build-up. I'm kind of debating whether I want the melody to kind of play out like the chord progression / bass line, or if I want to just have everything sustain. Because I feel like, I don't know, I think I'm leaning towards having everything sustain. It'll make it feel even more dramatic if everything is just holding on one note, creating that tension for the build. To do that, we're going to just go to the bass, and then we're going to like try to be lazy here, and I'm going to just duplicate this a bunch of times. And then we'll do the same thing for the break bass. And then I guess we just have to do that for the piano as well. Let's see if that sounds good. The build is really coming together. The last major thing that we need is going to be a big sweep, right? To take us into that drop. And then kind of do a classic pre-drop fill where we just have like a percussion counting down. It might sound cool here. Now, another idea I just had for this build is to get one of those tiny 808 snares playing a fast rhythm in the background. All right, y'all, so I think that's a good place to stop for today. Let's take a listen from the top and let's see what I came up with.
If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. Hope you listen, say your name as my breath. In the deep end, head above to breathe air. If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. If I'm drifting, say that you will be there. Hope you listen, say your name as my breath. In the deep end, head above to breathe air. If I'm drifting, say that you will be there.
Sorry. Oh my God, I was trying to hold in that cough so bad, or so hard, so much. You know what I'm trying to say. Listen, episode 31's a wrap. Festival banger, Tiesto remix. Let's get it. How you doing? So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time I upload. If you guys want the stems to today's episode, along with mini monthly sample packs, lessons from your boy, a bunch of other cool stuff, you can go ahead to my Patreon. The link for that will be down below in the description. I'll also leave the link to my brand new Serum preset pack that just came out. I used it here today as well. The link for that will also be down below. So I think that's all I got to say for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.